Hey guys, this is the most interactive sports show on social media, the Overtime Sports Show with yours truly, AV, and my homie.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your boy G-Man. I'm at the crib today, man. So,
Man, what's all the trophies you got behind you? I see boxing gloves, cups. What's all that?
Yeah, no, I finally got my game room the way I wanted it. So I ordered these cases. I put all my, I don't know if you can see it all. I got a lot of junk up there, man. So I got a lot of memorabilia and stuff. Yeah, man. So it's like my man cave, but I don't get to be in here a lot. I got a pool table and TV. I just don't ever get a chance to come up here.
So I really realized where the company's money is going.
Actually, that was a layaway plan.
Oh, it's a layaway. I got you. It's a layaway. Well, listen, it's no sweet situation going on in H-Town. We got Deshaun Watson, whose number is up to 16, but we have the Sweet 16 that's kicking off, and we have a special guest that's going to join us today as well to talk about the moment of truth. But the moment of truth is here for the University of Houston, Sweet 16. I didn't know if they were going to survive the Rutgers game last week, but man, here they are, Sweet 16 against Syracuse tomorrow night at 9 p.m. How you feeling about H-Town and the Cougars?
I'm not gonna lie, man. Last Sunday, man, I was sweating it out, and the crazy part is my cable provider. I don't get TNT, so I had to watch it on my Gamecast on my phone. So I was like, man, we're down by 10. We're down by, and then I'm thinking we have 2 minutes left. I'm thinking, oh, we're done. And the next thing you know, I go off of it to come back, and then we win the game. I'm like, what the heck happened?
Yeah, it felt like that. I sat on the edge of my bed after the game was over with and wondered, how did the University of Houston win this game? But I realized it was all about defense. I got to give a big shout out to Dejan Giroux. He played with a hip pointer. Yeah. And he came through for the team and led them to the Sweet 16. So I'm excited. Sasser, Grimes, we got to get all of the fellas, Giroux, as we said, into the game this week. And I think we have a big chance against Syracuse, who's actually a lower seed than the University of Houston. So I am looking for Houston to head to hopefully the Elite Eight into the Final Four.
It's been since 1984, since the five Summer Jamma days, Elite Eight, Final Four, man. I'm excited. You know, I've been following them all year long, and I knew the record was really good. Haven't had to really watch them, but I have the last few games before the last one. But Kelvin Sampson has them boys playing good. And, hey man, I'm excited, man. I can't wait. And the good thing is we are on prime time tomorrow night, the last game of the tournament tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on time.
Got a shout out to TT. Thank you for checking in, and appreciate it. You can like, share, and comment tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. So not only is U of H headed, in my opinion, to the Final Four, but they're going to run into the Baylor Bears, because Baylor is rolling right now, man.
Yeah, I saw that they projected after all the different simulations, they got them 10,000 times playing Villanova, and it happened. So Baylor versus Villanova, somebody's got to get knocked out, man. So the Houston Cougars are actually on a great path to get to the Final Four, man. It came, I don't want to say get easier than this, but
no,
right there for the taking, man.
It's laid out. And, of course, the Pac-12's got a lot of teams in it. But I think if we take care of our business tomorrow against Syracuse, and then I believe we'll face Loyola Chicago, and then it'll be Houston versus Baylor in the Final Four. 2 Texas teams represented. Waco, we love you, but it's all about H-Town all the time with the Overtime Sports Show. So go U of H, go Baylor. It's going to be nice, man.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. So tomorrow night, make sure y'all tune in. It's a great primetime game. I will definitely be in Louisiana watching it, so I've definitely got to watch that game for sure. I know they got it on the TVs there, so I ain't got to worry about that.
I know. Yeah, I know you definitely go watch it. H-Town, how y'all feeling, man? Who is your Final Four prediction? And I'm like this. I think it's going to be Gonzaga, and I know I'm probably going to sound, repetitious as most people who say it, but I like Gonzaga, and it's going to be one of the Pac-12 teams to me. Most people predict Michigan is going to be there, but I think it's going to be one of the Pac-12 teams for me, and it's so wide open right now that I don't know which one is going to get there, but I know it's going to be one of the Pac-12, and then, of course, Baylor and U of H.
4 of my teams are still in it. I got in my bracket that we have our company bracket, I feel that I have Houston in the Final Four. I have Michigan, I have Baylor, and I have Gonzaga.
Yeah, you see, you going with the norm, though. So that's the norm. That's what everybody's going with. But listen, the Pac-12 has 4 teams in there. Oregon State is in there, UCLA, and USC. So the odds are for the Pac-12 to get in there. And, of course, everybody's wishing that Loyola Chicago gets there because of the mother who's 101 years old, but they're in the same bracket as U of H. So, mother, I love you, but go Cougars.
Hey, I love you, Mother Mary, but we got to sit you down on this one, baby. I'm sorry, man. U of H, we've been waiting a long time. I remember I think I was in pre-K or something like that when the U of H lost on that last shot to NC State. And I remember everybody talking about it. I didn't know too much about it, but my sisters were like, man, we were that close to winning the championship. And I'll never forget that moment, man.
Lorenzo, you in North Carolina State. I don't even want to relive that moment. It hurts my heart to this day. So I'm done with that. I want to talk about that. That makes me cry, G-Man. Some sports moments in Houston that I feel so bad about. And that was one of them because Clyde Drexler was in foul trouble that day. And Akeem Olajuwon stood around and looked, and the ball went over the top of his head, and North Carolina State beat us.
Out with the old, in with the new. Yes. We're about to do this. So shout out to Third Ward, Houston, Texas, man. I know they're excited over there off of Cullen Street, man. I mean, the whole city of Houston behind the U of H Cougars. And also, we got to shout out to TSU, too, because
yes, sir.
TSU, I mean, although they got knocked out early, but they went further than a lot of people thought. They won the conference, and they got a lot to be proud of, man.
A lot to be proud of. That's my school. So I celebrate Texas Southern not only on winning the Southwest Athletic Conference Tournament Championship because Prairie View won the regular season, but TSU won the tournament championship, a 10-game winning streak to go into the tournament and to lose to Michigan. But that for us to get into the field of 64, man, that's a big accomplishment for Texas Southern on a down year that nobody thought we were going to get there. So congratulations to Third Ward TSU. Listen, a lot of stuff has happened in the NBA, man.
Hey, you know what? Earlier today, me and Pimp, we touched on the NBA Minute brought to you by Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. They are the spirit of the NBA, man. And trade deadline was yesterday. We moved out Oladipo. Coach Silas, people are saying, well, man, this guy was on a 20-game losing streak. They finally broke the losing streak a couple days ago. Then they lost again. But, a lot of the players have his back, man. And some of them, like John Wall, they're saying, hey, man, he's our coach. And no matter what, we got his back. So the locker room is still with him.
We're going to play Minnesota tonight. I think we'll get that. They have a worse record than us. They only won 10 games, and we won 12. So, hey, listen, we can get that tonight. But I told you a couple of people needed to go. Now, I had 4 people that I wanted to go. John Walls, Eric Gordon, who's injured right now, but he didn't go. But they did get rid of Victor Oladipo, and they did get rid of our boy P.J. Tucker, and they traded him. So do you think that we got robbed with the Victor Oladipo trade?
Well, but a lot of people don't understand. They were mad about that, but they don't understand. He was going to be a free agent anyway. His goal was to go to Miami. He done told everybody, I want to go to Miami. That was his destination. No matter what the Rockets threw at him money-wise, he was going to bounce to the MIE. And so we had to get something for him. So the Rockets, they knew he wasn't going to come back. So they had to get something for Oladipo. And I don't think it was, what we thought, but you got to get something for him, man.
It was a big picture. See, we got to remember the big picture of the whole thing. When we got rid of James Harden, that signified the end of an era. When we got rid of PJ Tucker, that showed us that the present we needed to change. And then when we got rid of Oladipo, that showed us that the future is going to be brighter, but it's also going to be younger. So we got Avery Bradley, who's probably not going to be here next year. We also got Kelly Olynyk. We got an unprotected first-round pick from Brooklyn. We also got pick swaps with Brooklyn 2022, 2024, and, of course, 2026. And so when you look at the entire James Harden trade, we got a lot of picks that's going to help us in this youth movement for the Houston Rockets. And as I said last week, I'm excited about that because it was time for us to rebuild.
Yeah, and, I remember you want Eric Gordon. I know you want to not because you don't like him.
I love you, Eric. I love you.
You want to get something for him. But, I did interview Eric Gordon a couple of years ago. And he told me before last year, he said, if we do not win the championship this year, they're going to break this team apart. And that's what's happening right now. So he told me that 2 years ago. He told me that. So
and I like it, man, with Porter Jr. And, of course, we got Woods, our center. So we got a lot of young pieces to work with. So I'm excited about that. Now, a lot of big trades happen. And I'd say the winner in the trades yesterday for me was actually the Nuggets. Now, they were able to get JaVale McGee. He's going to be a center on the team, but they was also able to get Gordon from Orlando. And I think that team that Denver has, now LeBron, when he comes back from this high ankle sprain, which is indefinite right now, it's going to be they're on a losing streak. And come on, with LeBron out, he's 85% of the team to me. So when I think LeBron gets back, I think we're headed for a finals Western Conference final battles between the Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. But I know people will argue with me because the Clippers got a veteran in Rondo.
Hey, but Lou Williams was a mean scorer, man. He was 6-man lead. I don't know, about 37 times. I don't even know, but yeah.
He's no Rondo. Rondo has rings. Lou Williams don't have rings. Rondo has rings.
Me and JQ the Pimp, we were talking about that today. We're like, man, Rondo is good, but Lou Williams is a scorer. Rondo does have rings, but me personally, I would have kept Lou Williams. That's just me personally.
No, for what? I mean, when you think about when you get into the playoffs, you got Rondo. Rondo has won with the Celtics, won last year with the Lakers. You got to go with the man who knows how to deliver in the playoffs. And when has Lou Williams ever delivered in the playoffs?
To me, Rondo's washed up. That's what I'm just saying. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't think he's going to be the reason why they win a championship or the reason why they don't win one. I don't think he's that important right now.
Yeah, but let's talk at the end of the playoffs and see how it goes. Yeah, let's see what Lou Williams is doing at the end of this playoff series. Man, we always get into the battle of who's the GOAT of all times, whether it's LeBron James, the late Kobe Bryant, or Michael Jordan. Yep. And I know you like in my era, so you're a Michael Jordan fan, even though I felt like the Rockets and Vernon Maxwell could eat him up. But I remember growing up, man, one of the most difficult times in watching basketball was the death of Michael Jordan's dad.
Yeah, very bad. That was sad because there was a lot of conspiracy theories, and because of Michael Jordan's gambling problem, that he had a problem with somebody who took it out on him and killed his dad. There's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories going on. So finally, we did see The Last Dance, which was probably the best series that I've ever seen, any kind of sports document that I've ever seen. The Last Dance had you on the edge of your seat. And it's funny because Michael Jordan actually even said before the first episode, he says, man, people are going to think that I'm an asshole. Excuse my language. That's what he said. He goes, and then when you watched, you were like, damn, Michael was mean. Like he was like dogging his teammates, but that was him. That's what he did to get the fire out of them, to get him competing. Yep. But you could tell he was a little up. He was up there, man.
Yeah, so, Michael was a competitor, man. I mean, at all times, Michael competed in everything, and I don't care who you were, who you thought you were. When you came up against the GOAT, Michael Jordan, you don't have to bring your game to the A level. I don't care if it's a documentary. I don't care if it's 3-on-3 basketball outside. I don't care if it's popping the top on your favorite soda can. Michael Jordan was a competitor in every situation on the golf course, and we know even within that trying time with Mike and his dad, because we know he retired and was able to come back after that because he needed to step away and get from the game. As you said, a lot of people had the conspiracy theories about wondering if Michael's gambling caused the death of his father. And we found out, of course, that there was no connection with that. But there's a new documentary series that's coming out that's entitled The Moment of Truth. Yep. And it's a 5-part series that's going to talk about 2 of the gentlemen who were convicted for the murder of Michael Jordan's dad. And one of the guys, and we're going to find out a little bit more about it, Daniel Green, is actually still trying to plead his innocence in the whole situation. Yeah. So this is going to be powerful.
Yeah, I can't wait for this to come out. And the funny thing is about the whole IMDb TV is I have a Fire Stick. And when you start going through your apps, you start seeing different. And I saw that app come up, IMDb TV. I was like, what is that? So I clicked it, and man, it's a free download. It's a free app, and they got some really good shows on there, man. So it's going to be on there. IMDb TV. It's an original series called Moment of Truth, 5-part series. So if you have a Fire Stick, if you have a smart TV, download it for free. It's IMDb. And you're not going to regret it, man. They got a lot of great shows on there. It's just if you binge watching TV and just watching different things, that's a great app to look at.
Well, listen, it's going to be the never-before-seen story behind the murder of the beloved husband and father, James Jordan, the father of Michael Jordan. So we've got a trailer. Let's take a look at it and give people an idea of what they can expect to see with the Moment of Truth.
Roll it.
There wasn't any real skepticism about did they get the right guys. I mean, it just fit the template for Robeson County.
There was a single-minded decision made very early on that Larry was the good guy, Daniel was the bad guy, and Larry's going to testify against Daniel.
They were paraded into the courthouse for the cameras, and that never happens. Never happened before, never happened since. And that was Sheriff Stone. He played to the media.
They're surrounded by law enforcement. That just tells you the number of people who wanted to be involved in this case and wanted to be a part of it. It also tells you that there was real concern that somebody was going to try and kill them. That's the outrage that someone would do something that would hurt Michael Jordan.
This isn't about Michael Jordan. This isn't about his fame. This is about a man who was convicted of killing someone, and there are clear problems with the case. There was corruption going on in this department. There was concerns about how evidence had been reported, questions about the politics of the county at the time. There are so many urban legends that were born out of this case. Daniel Green, he has had this version of his story all along.
Daniel, anything you want to say to the Jordan family?
I didn't kill him. That's all I have to say.
Michael Jordan.
Daniel Green has never wavered.
Spent a lot of years thinking about, the mistakes that I made. Basically, I've been in prison from anywhere from 15 to 18 years longer than I would have been if I would have been convicted for what I actually did. I never killed anybody. I didn't kill James Jordan. I'm innocent. I'm innocent of murder.
Woo, man.
Man, powerful. Because you got to remember, you go back to the story, Michael Jordan's dead, James Jordan was driving home, pulled over on the side of the road, and of course, he was robbed and shot and murdered. And as they said, Daniel Green has been trying to say that he's been innocent all along, that he was a setup, and Larry Dimmerman was supposed to be the good guy, and then Daniel was supposed to be the bad one, and they both ended up getting convicted. But you remember, as the documentary shows us, that the Robeson County Sheriff's Department, man, was real wicked at the time. Yeah. And they came up with this title about them called Operation Tarnish Badge, because it resulted in the conviction of 22 deputies from the local sheriff's office back in 2002. So it was a lot of corruption, as you saw them, leading them out like it was a parade, man.
Yeah, in the words of JQ the Pimp, man, it was some sham really going on, man. And I can't wait to see this documentary, man. It's a 5-part series. I think I'm just excited to watch this. That was, The Last Dance, man. And we are celebrating National Women's Month. So Shelley Leslie, she is the executive producer. April 2nd, it comes out on IMDb TV. You got to watch it, man. Moment of truth. I can't wait, man.
Yeah, and Shelley, so let's bring Shelley in as we honor her for being the executive producer.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Oh, good, man. That was a powerful, powerful trailer.
Oh, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
It takes me back to a time of being a young man and watching the entire story unfold. And that's what I love about the documentary, is show us where you're going to start with the beginning of this and how much, because I know you guys have a lot of footage that you put together to kind of build the case, because I know Daniel Green is really trying to get himself free now.
Yeah, we really tried to structure the show as another trial. So we present the original trial, the original investigation, sort of re-examine the investigation as it was back in 1993. And then the goal here is to reveal this new information so that the audience is the jury now, right? So, our goal was to present all sides and let the audience decide what they think really happened. What is the truth? And did correct justice take place?
Woo, which is tough to say because when we look at that local sheriff's department, it was a lot of corruption. As I said, Operation Tarnish Badge, and they seem to make a mockery of just the whole process, from the parading of Larry and Daniel in front of the media. It just seems like a three-ring circus.
And that has never happened since. And didn't happen after that. Like it was that sheriff at that time playing to the media, and the district attorney who originally prosecuted the case actually says that, like, that didn't happen. That was Sheriff Stone doing his thing. If people want to know about Operation Tarnish Badge, you can Google it and you'll find all you want to find about it. A long and deep history of law enforcement corruption, racism in that county before and after this crime occurred. It's so relevant, right? There's such a, and I don't mean to interrupt you. It's the context of Robeson County and where this happened is so important in the story because of what was happening at that time. You know, this is the early 90s in the South, in a rural part of the South.
Yeah. Did Michael Jordan have any, what input at all did Michael Jordan have as far as information he gave you about his dad or about things leading up to, you know, his murder?
We reached out to Michael through his spokespeople on a couple of occasions when we first started working on this, and he declined to participate. They wished us well in the project. And we certainly respect and appreciate that they went through a horrific tragedy for their family, and I have great empathy and compassion for that, and I respect that they didn't want to participate.
Yeah, Shelley, I know that there's a lot of critical court documents and evidence and photos from the case that'll be featured. I know you can't go into all of the details, but what are some of the things?
How much time you got?
Let's see some things right now. Open up some things.
So let's see. There were 12,000 or so documents associated with this case. So about 8,000 trial documents, and then investigative documents and interviews and whatnot. So a lot to go through. 27 years of video archive that my company had from reporting on the case starting in 1993 all the way up to present day. You know, I think there are, and this one's in the trailer, so I'll talk about this one. There were things that were present at the trial that weren't challenged at the trial. The shirt that Mr. Jordan was wearing, the autopsy is a big piece of this. That how does that shirt not have a bullet hole when the autopsy is done in the area of the chest where he was shot? And how does it have that bullet hole when that shirt gets to trial 3 years later?
Wow.
And how does that shirt get presented at trial with bullet residue on the hole when the shirt had been in the creek for 2 weeks? It's like, how did that not get challenged at the time? And some of this is the way the trial played out. I think there are questions of representation and Daniel's representation in particular that we talk a lot about. So I think do
you feel that it was, how can I say it to be fair? Do you think that he had fair representation? I mean, I know it's a personal question.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know that that's my mine to say. I think there are so many questions about things that took place at the trial, evidence that was available that didn't get in, evidence that was brought up that didn't get challenged. Daniel's defense in particular. I can't make that determination, but I think the audience is certainly going to have an opinion about that.
Yeah. When you look at the evidence, like you said, when you look at the evidence, I mean, why wasn't this, put into trial? I mean, there's a lot that, you think about, you can make your own decision from it. Like you said, you can look at your say and say, wow, this is big key pieces of evidence, and it wasn't even presented. So, I mean, he could have a valid point. I mean, I honestly, I don't know. I want to say whether I think he's guilty or not guilty, but I think a strong case that he was misrepresented.
Yeah.
I think also we have access to the original interrogation tapes where they recorded some of the interrogation, but not all of it. Mysteriously, some of it's recorded, some of it's not. Those kinds of things are throughout this case, and so you actually hear them being interrogated in the series. So it again gives you good context for how this was investigated, how they went about it from the beginning. We also have the trial audio. It's the first time the trial audio is ever going to be heard, which is recorded on little audio tapes, back in 1993.
Yes.
Yeah. So we got that audio and got it digitized and cleaned it up in terms of the quality so that it was usable. And so you as a viewer are actually going to go into this trial. You are going to sit in the trial.
And I love that. Yeah, I love that. The Moment of Truth, the new documentary, you'll be able to see it on April the 2nd. Some never before stories behind the murder of beloved husband and father James Jordan, father of Michael Jordan. Now, Shelley, I want to ask, did you get a chance to see the previous documentary, The Last Dance, and how they, talked about James Jordan? And how did you feel about that?
I did see it. I thought that they really focused, as they should have, on Michael's experience and Michael's loss and how that impacted him as a human being and as a son and as a player and the decisions that he made after that. They didn't go into the murder a lot, which I completely understand. But I think people got a chance. People who didn't know that this even occurred, because there are a lot of people who didn't even know this occurred.
Right.
I think learned that this occurred during The Last Dance. And so this is kind of the rest of the story.
Yeah, that's kind of like for me too. When I watched The Last Dance, there was a lot that I didn't even. I mean, I knew he was murdered, but there was a lot that I didn't know as far as the relationship with Michael. And so when it first happened, obviously there was no social media, so you really jump on Twitter and see what's going on. So when I saw The Last Dance, I'm thinking, oh wow, so this was, he was really close to his dad, and this was I was really, blown away by that. So I'm curious, and I'm excited to see what the Moment of Truth what it shows. So I'm excited.
Well, we also really wanted to honor that relationship that he had with his dad. We have a lot of footage from when Michael was younger and growing up in North Carolina and playing high school basketball in North Carolina and going to UNC Chapel Hill, and WRL TV and Capital Broadcasting, which is the company I work for, covered Michael all that time. I mean, I grew up in North Carolina. I was a Michael Jordan fan. Like that's kind of my connection to it. And I was a young photojournalist at the time when this happened and watched my colleagues report on this for 3 years. So we do honor that relationship. He had a very special relationship with his dad, obviously.
Right. Yeah, and when we saw, every time that the Chicago Bulls won the championship, Michael was with his dad, and it was tragic after his dad lost. You remember the next year when you saw that they won the championship, and of course he's hugging the trophy and crying at the same time because he's, as he said, remembering the moment now that he wouldn't be able to share with his dad what he shared with all of his NBA career. Well, there's a couple of wow moments for you, Shelley, especially being the executive producer of The Moment of Truth. Some things that, as you said, when you listen to the audio footage, you look at the documents. Well, there's several wow moments for you.
Yeah, I think the shirt is a wow moment. I think some of the things we heard in the interrogation were wow moments for me. I think too, just the not having had that personal experience in the criminal justice system for anybody in my family. If you don't have that personal thing, you haven't really experienced what that is. And the big kind of one of the takeaways for me is there equal justice? And if you are a person who does not have the means to hire the greatest attorney ever to represent you, I think you're at a disadvantage. Right. And that it really sticks with me about, is there really justice in the justice system? And I think that's a social question that I hope I hope people talk about that.
She is the executive producer of the brand new documentary series entitled The Moment of Truth. It's set to air on April the 2nd. We want to honor you. Thank you Ms. Shelley, for coming on with us today as we honor National Women's Month. Thank you for doing the great work that you've done. Your resume is impressive, and we're looking forward to so many other great things from you. How can people keep up with you?
Great, guys. Really appreciate you having me on the show and letting us talk about the show. We're excited for people to see it. And you can follow me on Twitter at Shelly Leslie, anywhere on social, at Shelly Leslie.
Congratulations, and we look forward to much success for you in the future. Thank you, Shelly.
Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And again, for those that are trying to wonder IMDb, you can, if you're on a Fire Stick or Smart TV, you can download the ads. Absolutely free. I was telling them off before you came on that I found it that way. I'm like, what is this? And I clicked it, and it's got some really great content on there. Really great show. Free. Yeah, and I want to say one thing about that. That was really important to us and who we partnered with to distribute this show. We felt like the show needed a big platform, and we wanted everybody to have access to it, not have it stuck behind a paywall. And so the IMDb TV opportunity was really a great fit for us. And people will also be able to watch it inside the other Amazon apps, and you can find IMDb TV app on your Roku. There's all kinds of ways to find it. So
I'm going to it again tonight. I'll be on Amazon. That's one of my favorite things. To go check it out. Thanks again, Shelly.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Shelly. Good job. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be an awesome, man. I can't wait. April 2nd, you know how we do. We pull out the Amazon, and it's time to watch it. And I'm curious to see a lot of the audio and the court documents that weren't seen, because I know growing up, especially in the 90s, man, the justice system, most guys had court-appointed lawyers, and you were doomed from the start. If you couldn't afford to have the proper representation, you were doomed from the start. So
watching that trailer, there's a lot that I don't even remember seeing back in the day, because there was no social media. Nowadays, you open your phone, you can read everything about what's going on. But so when I was watching that documentary and just the trailer of it, I'm like, wow, I don't remember. I remember the case, but I don't remember it that vivid. So this is really going to bring back a lot of memories and actually take us back to exactly what happened. And like you said, the evidence that wasn't presented,
Evidence, seen, unseen. Could it be true? Could it not be true? Audio. 16 lawsuits against our own Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans. 16 lawsuits. Tony Busby has filed a new masseuse from California who says that he done some sexually inappropriate things to her. But of course, attorney Rusty Hardin said that the woman from California also tried to get $30,000 from Deshaun Watson and to try to blackmail him for her silence. And so a lot of stuff has come out so far with the filing of the 16 lawsuits. But one thing came to the news today, and that was the Houston Police Department had said that Tony Busby hasn't filed any cases against Watson as of today.
No. And that's kind of weird. That's kind of funny you say that, because all this is coming out, all the Jane Does that are coming out saying this and that. Yeah. You would think that, and Deshaun Watson, to his credit, he's denied every single thing wholeheartedly. And like I said, I told you the last couple of weeks, man, I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan. I hate that he's going through this. I hope it's not some kind of a thing because he wants to get out of Houston, that they're bringing this on him. I'm still supporting Deshaun Watson until the facts come out or until he's proven guilty. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what to think of it,
Yeah, I know in one of the relationships they did mention Deshaun, and his representation did mention that there was some consensual sex, and it's curious to see how many of these so-called, masseuse or so-called interactions were consensual. I'm curious to see that as we move forward. And then the question has been raised: is it a financial battle? And for the sake of Deshaun's career, should he go ahead and try to settle?
No, if you
16 lawsuits.
If you didn't do it, I mean,
for the sake of your career, to try to save.
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that part, but and I know but when Tiger Woods went through what he went through, I remember when the girl was about to testify or she was going to come on a press conference, and right before that happened, the day before, a big settlement, he gave her a 6-7 figure deal to keep quiet. So I don't see that, like that. We don't have that evidence other than, them saying a text message here and there.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I see that as far as meetups. Yeah.
People, I mean, I hate to say it, man, but, people are trying to get a buck any way they can, man. And
yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm just wondering, when do you get to the point to where we say, okay, is there a middle ground? Is there a place that we can meet to kind of settle these situations? And I know it's difficult because Rusty Harden says, as you alluded to, as we see coming across the screen, all of the Jane Does. We don't know who. It's a blind fight. He could identify the lady from California because he knew that there was only one from California. He could identify the lady from Georgia because he knew there was only one coming from Georgia. But when you got so many from the same city, it's hard for you to try to pimp who is Jane Doe.
Yeah, and when you're a big time celebrity with that big of a contract, with that big of a money deal, you just never know who's and what people's intentions are. I think you mentioned it last week that Shannon Sharp had mentioned in the elevator. If there's a girl in there by herself, a woman, he won't get in. He's like, I am not going to get it anywhere where somebody can say anything about what I did or did something. So that's smart on his part, and I think that's what's happening to the show.
Yeah, it's a different time that we live in with people. A lot of people interact down in the DM and Instagrams. A lot of transaction happens in the Instagram. So to say that this time that it's strange is not because it's actual way that people communicate now. But you have to have perimeters and you have to be safeguarded. And I think you need enough people around you that can be honest with you and say, hey, man, this pattern, this function that you may have or that you're doing is not beneficial for you. We need to have safeguards in place, because I know there was one of the Jane Does in which she mentioned that he told her that he said that she didn't have to sign the non-disclosure. So you need to have safeguards in place, especially when you find yourself in these one-on-one situations. And like you said, I don't think you should put yourself in one-on-one situations, especially in situations like this, man, because it came back to haunt him.
Yeah, especially when you have a $168 million contract. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why somebody can say, you know what, I can use $30,000. Let me just say that he rubbed his thing, like the words of pimp. He rubbed his thing on. I mean, it's your word against her word, and then you're in the media, and then everything is all the dirt is being thrown out on you. And like you say, it would be happy medium. Do you go ahead and settle and say, look, I just want to get my name clear, but I'm not going to clear it unless I just say, okay, fine, here's $30,000, because $30,000 to him is probably 5 cents. To him, to us, is like a lot of money. But it's 5 cents to him.
Yeah, I see Vivo says to be famous is to be afraid. Yeah. And he also said gold digger. And listen, I and that's one thing we can't do, man. You can't be a celebrity and be afraid. I don't think that's part of the enjoyment of life. I think you have to be careful. You have to, as we said, have safeguards in place, but you can't be afraid, because the NFL does a great job of educating the young rookies and players on what is happening, what is going on out there, the safeguards. But you have to, at the same time, you got to follow it. And my thing was, G-Man, why didn't you just have one massage therapist? Why do you need, if it's true, allegedly, why do you need 20 different massage therapists?
It could be because one wasn't available, or he just needed somebody right then and there. I mean, it could be a lot of different reasons. But my thing is this. Let's just say, for instance, you a big time celebrity, you a multi-millionaire, you at a strip club, you get a dance from a girl. Who's to say that she can't come back and say, oh, well, he put his fingers all on me and in me and all that? I mean, and I want to sue you. I mean, who's to say, that didn't happen or it did happen? So it's your word against her word. I mean, when you're that big of a celebrity, you got that kind of money, man. I don't know how else to safeguard it, like you said. What do you do? I mean, you have to have somebody with you at all times, making sure that nothing happen. I mean,
and we talked about trade time. There was a trade that was supposed to happen before the draft with him, and now Texans are kind of second guessing and sitting back and waiting to see what they can get. We saw a big trade that took place today. Miami traded their third pick in the draft, which was our old pick, to San Francisco. They swapped out the third pick for the 14th pick, and then Miami traded again with Philadelphia to not only get the 14, but they got the 6th pick. So actually, when they traded Laramie Tunsil to us, they now have 4 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a third-round pick. And we're sitting over here trying to figure out how can we get this team together.
Yeah, they did sign some good pieces, man. But I just don't think those one-year deals are going to be, major factors in us, being a championship contending team next year. So I mean, it's going to be a crazy next couple of months with the draft, and then with the schedule coming out, and then all the virtual OTAs and then training camp. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be tough.
I tell you who's not worried. That's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They signed Leonard Fournette today. All 22 of their starters are back, so it looked like they are getting ready to probably repeat one more time with Brady and the crew. Oh man! In Arizona is signing everybody and their mother. They already got JJ, already got Hopkins. Now they signed Malcolm Butler to join JJ, AJ Green. Oh man, D Hop and Kyler Murray.
And you told me last week that Arizona had no chance of getting to the conference championship or the Super Bowl, for that matter. I think they're going to be in the playoff. You say it one and done.
Yeah, that's the spirit of J.J. Watts and DeAndre Hopkins. Is always going to be one and done. Now, Miami is making a lot of deals. They got a lot of draft capital, and they've been signing a lot of players. So keep your eyes on the Dolphins as well. Listen, we've lost. Yeah, definitely. Brady's got something to prove. We already lost James Harden to a trade. JJ went to Arizona. D-Hop got traded. Now we lost George Springer. He's going to Toronto. And today we found out that Carlos Correa said he turned down a 6-year, $120 million deal from our Houston Astros, whose season starts in just a couple of weeks. Carlos Correa says he gives the Astros until opening day to make a big offer on another superstar by the end of next year is out the door.
You know me, I'm a Houston Astros fan. I mean, I don't know if you saw that, but I got the tattoo.
I see it, man.
And they ain't no asterisk on it either. That's real. But yeah, Carlos Correa is my favorite player on the team. I think he's going to stay here. His wife is from, the Valley down south. Texas girl. I mean, I can't see him going anywhere, man. We still got a strong team. You got Bregman. You got Altuve. You still got Kyle Tucker, and you got Alvarez coming back. McCullers just signed a huge contract.
Yes.
Brantley came back. We're still stacked. Maldonado was back. We're missing Gordon because obviously Tommy John surgery, but season kicks off next week in Oakland. On the 8th will be opening night here in Houston, which I'm planning on being there on that night. So
hope you got a ticket for me. Now they're gonna have 50% capacity. It's increasing. So will you, like you said, you going to the game? I'm sure you'll be masked up, ready to roll. And I think the Astros are gonna do something special. But listen, Astros, listen to me. That little offer that you gave Carlos Correa was an insult. Raise the price up. He produces in the playoffs. He is the ultimate Astro. Sign him into a long-term deal.
He did sign a 1 year with that. Put money in that 1 year deal, but he wants that long-term. They should give it.
Pay the man, bro. It's been an exciting. It's been an exciting overtime sports show. And of course, coming up next week, we're going to dive into more behind the tragic murder of NBA superstar Michael Jordan's father, James Jordan. We're going to have more details and more conversation on that as well. Of course, some more news about Deshaun and what's happening in H-Town. Go Cougars. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the Houston Cougars will play against Syracuse, the Big East Giant. Go Cougars. Do what you got to do. Baylor, we represent you as well. G-Man, let them know how they can keep up with you, homie.
Hit me up, man. I told you, G-Man979 on Instagram, on Twitter, Snapchat, Tinder, Christian Google, OnlyFans, and I think my wife's there. And
please don't.
Ashley Madison.
Say that again.
Ashley Madison. That's the one where married people meet other married people. I'm just kidding.
But how you gonna be on Christian Mingle and then on Ashley? You confuse me, man. I'm confused.
I'm on everything, Playboy. I'm on everything.
Just follow me at Faith and Fame with AV. I'm on all the stuff that you probably should be on. I ain't on a Christian mingle, even though I'm a Christian. I try to do my mingling somewhere else. Not there.
DJ A1 Sauce, you sure right. The Astros are our only hope right now. We should be in the World Series again. I'm an Astro fan till I die. Yeah. Astrodome sitting on them $1 seats in the outfield. My daddy taking me out there. And
my dogs.
I'm excited and I can't wait. So get ready for that one real quick. Don't forget to catch the NBA Minute. We have it on the box, 97 on the box from 2 to 7 p.m. with myself and JQ. Sponsored by Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. The NBA Minute, y'all. It's the spirit of the NBA. So we want to thank Hennessy for definitely sponsoring the overtime.
Yes, sir. The communion with Hennessy is happening. All right, guys, every Friday, 6 p.m., join us for the most interactive social media show there is out there, the Overtime Sports Show with AV and Dancing G-Man. You guys have a wonderful Friday evening. G-Man, let's go, baby. We got to spend some money. Let's get some of them trophies so we can go.
I'm heading to Louisiana, the Golden Nugget, my wife's birthday. So
happy birthday.
Can you give me a little? Can you bless me with a little prayer so I win some money? I mean, I know I'm not supposed to do that. But give me a little.
We're not going to. Lord, deliver him from Kristen Mingle and Ashley Madison, and let him win something. Amen. Is that good enough?
I'll take it, baby. I'll take it.
Goodbye, man.
All right.